found friends.
I found sports.
I found my passion.
I found family.
I found my calling. I found a place to call home. Discover what you can find at Marietta by visiting marietta.edu today.
Coming up today on NewsCenter 15, offensive graffiti found in elementary school.
And a human trafficking operation gets busted.
We'll have these stories and more. NewsCenter 15 starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Tuesday's edition of NewsCenter 15. I'm Andrew Konjovich.
And I'm Anthony Herman.
Topping our news this afternoon. Police in a Minneapolis suburb have arrested suspect after a swastika and other offensive graffiti were found at an elementary school. In an email to Edna School District Families, Superintendent John Schultz wrote that when an act of hatred occurs anywhere in Edna, it affects our entire community. Police say the arrest occurred Monday after the suspect was caught on security video. The vandalism happened over the weekend.
The leaders and representatives of 17 European Union countries say that they are against the proposed cuts in the EU funds designed to reduce regional differences among members. Czech Prime Minister Andrej Babiš, who's hosted their meeting Tuesday, says they absolutely disagree with the cuts. The outgoing European Commission has proposed reduced the cohesion policies funding by about 10% for the 2021-2017 budget. The EU members from the Central and Eastern Europe and some other countries benefited from the policy. The proposal comes as one of the countries contributing to it. Britain is set to leave the bloc. The countries want to retain the same level of funding from the cohesion policy as in the current budget and also call the funds to be spent according to their properties.
What's the weather out there look like today?
Here to provide the first look at the weather is Gavin Santini.
Thank you very much, Landon. Well, it looks like we're going to be having quite a rainy day today. A very bit of a light rain, especially this early in the morning, with temperatures outside feeling like 48 degrees, with an expected low of lows at 29 this evening. The UV index is relatively low with relatively good air quality. And thanks to the rain, we've got an incredibly low pollen count, so not much sneezing going on today. The winds are going to be running of the west-northwest at 2 miles per hour. Again, because of the rain, humidity is a relatively high 81%, with a expected sunset, the earliest we've had in quite a while, at 5:20 this evening. So we're going to be having a bit of a rainy day today. We've already had a bit of a rainy morning, and we might have a little bit more rain later on in the week, but we'll talk more about that when I come back for the 5-day forecast later on in the program. So until then, back to you guys at the desk.
A community gathering in North Alabama turned racist as people confronted authorities about the deadly police shooting of a black man. News outlets are reporting on the Monday night meeting to discuss the slaying of 39-year-old Dana Fletcher by Madison police. Madison County Sheriff Kevin Turner told the crowd he has seen police video that clearly shows a weapon was involved before the officers shot Fletcher to death outside the gymnasium on September 27th. Officers were called there on a report of a suspicious person. Members of the crowd responded that authorities should reverse their refusal to release the video publicly if that's the case. A person identifying herself as Fletcher's wife on Facebook has said unarmed. Civil rights lawyer Ben Crump says Fletcher's family wants full transparency.
Cyprus police have detained 2 Syrian men on suspicion of human trafficking following the arrival of a boat loaded with 131 Syrian migrants on the island nation's northeastern coast. Police said Tuesday that the 2 men were aboard another vessel that had shadowed the boat ferrying the migrants as it approached the Cypriot coastline on Monday. The men, ages 43 and 53, were arrested after a Marine Police Patrol boat intercepted their vessel off the Akamas Nature Preserve. Both men face charges including aiding and abetting the illegal entry of migrants in Cyprus and people trafficking by sea route. Coming up, a schemer pleads guilty, wine in space, and more.
And we'll be back after this.
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
HPV? Didn't know that.
Hey, Major, did you get your flu vaccine yet? Make that your mission for today.
Did you say mission? Let's do this. With the flu season coming up, we all have to help protect ourselves by getting the flu vaccine. If you're over 65 like me, you gotta even be more careful. Look out! Our immune system may not be as strong as it used to be, so we have to do everything we can to keep the flu from catching up with us. Educating yourself about your flu vaccine options is important. It's also really easy. So ask about your vaccine options, because if you're a tough guy like me, you may need a tough vaccine. The flu can aggravate other conditions, so make it your mission to get the right flu shot for your age.
Lee, is that you? Did you complete your mission?
Oh, you mean the flu shot? No sweat. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more about vaccine options for people 65 and older.
Perry Santillo, the mastermind of a long-running Ponzi scheme that collected more than $100 million from over 1,000 investors around the country, has pled guilty to federal charge of fraud count in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Adding to the charges, he pled guilty to last month in New York. It said that Santillo used some of the proceeds of his scheme to fund a lavish lifestyle of cars, casino, junkets, and houses in multiple states.
An attorney says a teenager accused of fatally shooting 10 people and wounded 13 others at Santa Fe High School last year has been declared incompetent to stand trial by 3 experts. The determination means Dimitrios Pargotor's trial will be delayed. It had been set to begin in February. Pargotis will be sent to a state mental health facility where he will remain for 6 months.
The FBI says it has arrested a man in a plot to bomb a historic Colorado synagogue. His co-conspirators turned out to be undercover agents. Richard Halser was arrested Friday in Pueblo just after the agents brought him what were supposedly 2 pipe bombs along with dynamite to blow up the temple, Emmanuel. The investigation into Halser began after an undercover FBI agent, purporting to be a woman who supports white supremacy, contacted him on Facebook.
The International Space Station's latest delivery includes 12 bottles of wine. The Luxembourg company sent up the red wine not for the astronauts to drink, but rather in the name of science. The wine will age for a year up there before returning to space, Cargo Unlimited. Company officials say researchers will study how weightlessness and space radiation affects the aging process. The goal is to develop new flavors and properties for the food industry.
Coming up next, puppy, capsized boats, and inmates.
We'll also get the latest news from Hollywood.
We had a bit of a wet and rainy morning this fine day, but we'll find out if that rain will continue. See you later on for the 5-day forecast.
Where are we?
We are at Marietta College.
This is where we live, at Marietta College.
A man rescued a puppy he found in a cage floating in an Illinois lake over the weekend. Brian Fritz, who was there fishing, spotted the cage in Kaufman Lake in Champaign Saturday and waded in and saved the dog. He believes she was caged in the lake for several hours. He took her to the emergency clinic at the University of Illinois Veterinary Hospital. She was suffering with hypothermia and wounds that needed to be treated. Fritz hopes to adopt the sweet puppy named Dory, who is expected to be okay. Authorities are looking for the person responsible for throwing the dog in the lake.
One man died and 3 others were injured when their boat capsized in Long Island Sound off Bridgeport. Police say the incident happened Sunday morning. Police say the 17-foot boat began to take on water, then it flipped with the 4 fishermen on board. 3 of the men were rescued by the Coast Guard and transported to Bridgeport Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The foreman was picked up but later died at Bridgeport Hospital. Not yet been identified.
More than 400 inmates in Oklahoma are now free. In a historic move, the state performed the largest ever day of commutations. The move is part of Oklahoma's criminal justice reform efforts. On Friday, the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board granted commutation to a total of 527 inmates. 462 of them were scheduled to be released on Monday. For many former inmates, it was a very emotional day. The inmates being released were doing time for nonviolent crimes, including drug possession and lower-level property crime. This move is estimated to save Oklahoma taxpayers nearly $12 million. Big awards in Hollywood and an auction from the movie Grease.
Here's Gavin with a look at the Hollywood Minute.
Hey guys, how are you? Look on the entertainment for today. Ellen DeGeneres is going where only Carol Burnett has gone before. The Hollywood Foreign Press has announced DeGeneres will be the second recipient of the Carol Burnett Award for her outstanding contributions to television. Burnett herself received the inaugural honor last year. DeGeneres will be honored at the 77th Golden Globe Awards, January 5th. Here's a first look at The Banker, starring Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson as black businessmen taking on the white establishment in the 1960s. The film was based on a true story, lands in theaters December 6th, then debuts on Apple TV in January. Olivia Newton-John's killer all-black outfit from the finale of Grease has sold for more than $400,000. The actress auctioned more than 500 items, raising a reported $2.4 million for her cancer center in Australia. But the greased leather jacket and pants were the big ticket items. You could say these went like greased lightning in Hollywood. I'm Gavin Linkus. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Gavin. It's time now to check back with Landon for our extended forecast.
What do you have for us, Landon?
All right, well, okay, after that exciting auction, I think we should talk about the fact that we're going to be having a little bit of wet and dreary conditions as we continue on throughout the day, although the rain is mostly going to stop as we get through the rest of the afternoon. As you can see, most of the precipitation coverage is coming through our lovely Buckeye State of Ohio at the west-southwest, passing through our state, going through some of the states on the west side. So it's going to be affecting us a little bit throughout the rest of the day. But thankfully, tomorrow we're going to be experiencing a break from the rain before we pick up again with that on Thursday. Go into a little bit more detail about that as we get started with the 5-day forecast. All right, so like I said, tomorrow on Wednesday, we're going to be experiencing a high of 55 and a low of 34 with mostly sunny conditions, giving us a break from the rain we've been having today. And then as we get on Thursday, that rain's going to be picking up again with a high of 46 and a low of 24. Then as we get started with the weekend on Friday, we can expect a high of 44, a low of 22, and another break from the rain with partly sunny conditions. As we continue on into the weekend, on Saturday, we're going to be experiencing a high of 45, low of 26, and yet even more sunny conditions. And as we finish off the weekend on Sunday, we'll be experiencing a high of 50, low of 26, and so yeah, you can see it's going to be a very sunny weekend overall. So today and on Thursday's show, we're going to be having some rain here and there, so make sure you got your umbrella, your galoshes ready, and it'll be all worth it when the weekend finally comes and things will start drying up a little bit. Unfortunately, as a result, that means the temperatures are going to be getting a little bit colder, but that comes with the territory this time of year. Anyway, that's all I've got for weather, so until the end of the program, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Landon. When we come back, we'll go back with Roscoe for a look into sports.
Stay with us.
Cancer may be tough, but we are tougher. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Our game-changing research has led to the belief that the cures for cancer are in our blood. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Beating cancer is in our blood.
I think it goes around.
Come on, buddy.
I'm here for you.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Look, look.
Why is this so hard?
Let's go. We gotta get you a practice.
I read it. Look, and it's set.
Tough loss this weekend against BW with the football team, Darius.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But we also have news from the Red Sox. A lot of money's getting made in baseball right now. And to talk about that, Red Sox designated hitter J.D. Martinez has decided to keep his contract with the Red Sox instead of becoming a free agent again. Martinez signed a $110 million contract, a 5-year deal after teams had started reporting to spring ball training in 2018. Martinez has 3 years and $62 million remaining on the deal, $23 million for 2020 and $19 million for both 21 and 22. Martinez has the options to opt out after each of the next 2 seasons as long as he does not spend a lengthy time on the injury list. In the NFL, Miami Dolphins running back Mark Walton has been suspended without pay for the next 4 games, violating NFL conduct and substance abuse policies. Walton was arrested 3 times last offseason in his hometown of Miami, which prompted the suspension. It begins immediately, and Walton will be eligible to return to the active roster December 2nd after following the week of 13 game against the Eagles. Walton was sentenced in August to 6 months probation after pleading no contest to a misdemeanor weapons charge. Other charges, including marijuana possession and reckless driving, were also dismissed. To talk about Marietta, 2 big pass plays were the difference as Bowdoin Wallace University downed Marietta College 17-3 on Saturday afternoon in George Finney Stadium. The loss drops Marietta to 4-4 overall and 3-4 in the Ohio Athletic Conference. Bowdoin Wallace improves to 7-1 on the season and 6-1 in the OAC. Marietta returns home to host Otterbein University next Saturday, November 9th. Kickoff is at Don Jones Stadium. It's set for 1:30 p.m. And then for more NFL news, the Browns safety Jermaine Whitehead has been released by the team following his disturbing social media rant after a loss in Denver. The Browns announced the move hours after rebunking Whitehead's for posts that they called totally unacceptable and highly inappropriate, following a 24-19 loss to the Broncos. Whitehead made several threatening and explicit posts on Twitter. One of Whitehead's tweets was directed at Dustin Fox, a former NFL player who works for the team's radio network. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Darius. Joining us at the desk is Landon for a last look at the weather.
Well, like I said, we've had a bit of rainy conditions this morning. It's still going to be a little bit soggy outside as we continue on into the afternoon. We'll get a bit of a break from it tomorrow before we get a little bit more rain on Thursday. But then as we go into the weekend, going to be having quite a break from it with sunny conditions. But as a result, the temperatures are going to be dropping down into the low 50s. Though that's to be expected this time of year. That's not all that unusual.
Yeah, it just kind of comes with the territory of living in Ohio, just cold, wet conditions, you know?
Well, you wouldn't know it judging by the way you're dressed. Is that so, Mr. Hawaiian Punch?
Yeah. Oh, no. This is just the style nowadays, you know? I got to look hip for the kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll hope you join us for Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon 30 and 6:30 for WCMO NewsCenter 15, Marietta College Broadcasting. See you guys next time.
Meet Candace. This senior basketball player loves to spend time hanging out before class with her best friend and education major, Shelby. Shelby knows the best place to study is at the Kalaki Cafe, where she can compare notes with baseball player Ryan and get a great cup of coffee too. In the off-season, Ryan tries his best when he's shooting hoops with broadcasting major Gage in the Dyson Baudo Recreation Center, home of Fenton Court. Gage, as producer at WCMO 15 News, runs the control room, where he shows the ropes to Mary, a junior volleyball player and advertising and public relations major. Mary loves to spend her free time drawing down at the Herman Fine Arts Center, where her sorority sister Madison majors in studio art. Madison meets up downtown with junior rower Katie. Downtown's where you can get beautiful river views, specialty stores, and the best root beer in Ohio. Katie heads back to campus just in time for a class in the Rickey Science Center with who else but Candace. So take a look around. Here at Marietta College, we're all connected. We are family,